Okay, so lie down on your back, get nice and comfortable. So you can let your eyes close. You can have a couple of breaths. I'm just going to talk a little bit kind of to what we were just speaking about before we started. And anyone who's doing the recording, this might be useful for you too. We were talking about physical therapists, and sometimes you might be maybe reluctant to go see one if a part of you has been aching for a while. You can just go ahead and take a couple more breaths, make sure your body feels really comfortable. But what happens, and the way I see it, is that we are always in some sort of physical therapy for our whole life. Like we are doing physical therapy on our body because of our habits and our lifestyle. And a professional can kind of just help you find out if there is a habit that you're doing that is perhaps maybe needing to be shifted so that you feel a little more comfortable. So you're already doing this all the time. So it's always worth talking to someone who has a lot of education and experience so that you can just live a better life. So let's go into the mental stuff for a bit. Go ahead and take some more breaths, but this time let them be slower, a little more intentional. And just like in the body, our mind has those habits too. We all know this. But sometimes it can feel a little cringy when someone is talking about beliefs or faith. But the way I see it now is that it's not that we must believe in XYZ, it's that we already are believing in so many XYZs. So many things we have faith in, and some of them are great and some of them are not. So I just want you to watch what comes up in your mind and notice in your body. Perhaps you place a hand on your belly and one on your heart. Do whatever you want with your arms, but if you'd like to, as you notice what comes up in your thoughts, you will notice your beliefs, right? The ones you already have. Maybe they're ones that you want to edit, that you're working on. But notice if you feel when something comes up, a sense of expansion or lightness, or if you feel like you're contracting or gripping. I'm not saying that there is good and bad to this. I just want you to notice. Let the breath be easy and notice your thoughts. And maybe if you find a thought or a process, when you feel a little bit more at ease, a little bit more expansive, a little bit more connected, just feed into it a little bit longer. And we're constantly in training. Our whole life, we're training our body and we're training our mind. This is never stopping. So when we practice yoga and mindfulness, we're deliberately training, right? We're trying to really have a hand in choosing our habits so that we can move more towards expansion, connection, grace. We're going to play with this idea of expansion and contraction in our asana practice today. You can choose if you want to move slowly, if you want to move quickly. You can adapt the practice to suit your needs always. But let's spend a little bit more time now before we move with the breath. You can do Ujjayi breath if you like it. You can just breathe slowly or just put your attention back to the breath. And when you get lost in thought, notice if it makes you feel like you're separating, contracting, resisting. Perhaps that's a habit, right? There's a belief attached to that. And maybe you just give it a little bit less of your energy. You can actually choose over and over again to just make it not that important and go back to your breath. Again, one more time, we are always in training. We are always making some beliefs stronger and some beliefs weaker. So just have a little bit more say in the ones that you make stronger. Go ahead and drop right back into your body, and you can move, you can stretch like you were just waking up from a nap. You can roll your wrists around if you'd like. Whatever feels good. And let's meet with the knees pointing towards the ceiling, the arms by the sides. You don't have to open your eyes unless you want. And for now, just have your knees to the ceiling, your feet maybe under your knees, and your body kind of relaxed. So we're going to relate, just for the experiment, the inhale with expansion and the exhale with contraction. It doesn't always have to be like this. It might be just a little bit easier to feel. So when you breathe in, just imagine your whole body expanded. And when you breathe out, just for now, feel your belly move in. You do not, absolutely not, have to have your lower back on or even near the floor. But let's not intentionally backbend. Just let the natural shape of your body stay where it is. And when you inhale, imagine everything expanding. And when you exhale, just for now, feel as though your belly button could move in towards your spine. You don't have to tuck your tailbone unless you want. Inhale, nice and easy, nice and expansive. And exhale, in the physical sense of the word, actually contract the muscles of your abdomen and maybe now your waist. You might even feel your back. So you can imagine, inhale again, expansive, relax. When you exhale, imagine you had right where your belly button is, you had another one on your left side, another one on your right side, another one on your back. And those 4 belly buttons were squeezing to meet in the center. Easy. Inhale. Exhale, these 4 belly buttons just squeeze at the center. This is not an action you must maintain often or all the time. It's something we're playing with today. Now this time we're going to keep on squeezing those 4 belly buttons in, but let's lift the hips up into a real mild bridge pose. So we're going to keep the front of the rib cage from flaying out. It's all right if it does that, but let's not do it today. Let's not do it now, at least. Front of the rib cage moves in, so your back is pretty neutral, but the butt's off the floor, and you grab the floor with your feet. Inhale and exhale. Maybe it's slight tuck in the tailbone, but you squeeze those 4 belly buttons in. Inhale and exhale, contract. Inhale. On your own, of course, you don't have to match my words. And you can feel that sense of contraction when you exhale all over, or maybe it's still isolated towards the center. You're going to start to feel maybe a little more tension in the back of the legs as you feel your hips, the muscles that support your hips. Maybe tire out just a little. It's okay. We're trying to get the nervous system to fire up the hips, to fire up a lot of the muscle of the core. But still, as you inhale, expanding, and as you exhale, contracting. We're just introducing these sensations, kind of setting the sort of mood of the rest of our practice. And let's lower the hips to the floor. We're going to start with one leg, just lift one foot up. You can keep the knee bent. The other leg is still where it was when you were in bridge pose. If you'd rather stretch that right leg out, go ahead. Again, your lower back does not have to touch the floor. If you'd like, you can tuck your tailbone a little bit. But inhale, and then when you exhale, squeeze your legs and squeeze your 4 belly buttons. Inhale, and when you exhale, squeeze. Keep going. And if you're lost in a trance of thought, fine. There are so many times when that's useful. But if the story you're telling yourself is separating, is kind of disconnected, maybe just let the habit weaken just a little bit. You just put your attention somewhere else. Go back to your body, back to your breath. Again, you give your time to only what you want to give it to. Squeeze, squeeze. I know we're not moving. Sometimes it's harder to not move than to be still. Oh, same thing. Harder to move than to move. But I really want you to see what it feels like to contract when you exhale. Again, the spine is at neutral, so you do not have to back bend or forward fold. Let's switch the legs. Put that foot down. Lift the other. You might just lift the foot off the floor. You might straighten the leg. After this, we're going to flow a little bit more. We're going to move more. And this is your time. Just see what it feels like. Perhaps the jaw is a little softer. The breath is pretty steady. And you inhale. Feel like you could expand. Like all your muscles just kind of pressed into the skin. And then when you exhale, everything contracts, especially those 4 belly buttons and your legs. It's okay if it starts to feel intense. Don't do anything that hurts, but keep on squeezing. Just a couple more seconds of this, everyone. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Mind-muscle connection. And let's relax. And you do whatever you want. Move like you're giving more to your body. You're giving to it. You're not asking of it. As generous as you can be. And let's come on to hands and knees. We'll play with some cat-cows, which you can start whenever you're ready to. You can hold whichever one feels really juicy. Eyes opened or closed. Inhale to lift the sit bones, sternum and nose, and exhale to tuck under. And keep on going. Again, you don't have to keep this as linear, as straightforward. If you want to add some side to side movement or some circles with your torso, feel free. You can move your hips around. Let's make this also be more like you're giving to your body, like you're being really generous to it. We might challenge it a little more later, but this is not to challenge. This is to give. So we'll meet in downward dog, like within a couple breaths. If you're really happy with your cat-cows, you can do them for longer. So From your downward dog, make sure you've got your hands about shoulder or mat distance apart. Let's feel like you could lift your shoulders up towards the ceiling and take the eyes of the elbows, the side opposite the bone, your elbow pit, and spin it forward almost to face the ceiling. Doing this changes the rotation of the shoulders, so you might feel your bones not pressing into each other as much. And now let's hold our downward dog for just a few breaths, noticing that sense of contraction everywhere. We'll make our way, maybe on the inhale, into plank pose. Exhale, heels back, knees down. Place your forearms to the ground. And again, we're bringing the spine to neutral. Some people's neutral spine looks really back bendy. Some people's neutral spine looks really forward foldy. Whatever your kind of natural thing is, so you don't feel any pain or discomfort. But we are going to intentionally feel effort now. So we're looking for it. We're going to look for it by lifting the knees up again. Tucking the tailbone, heels back, tailbone tucked, squeeze your butt. And for the inhales and the exhales, feel like you can contract. Those 4 belly buttons move in towards each other. Again, we're looking for effort. So when you feel it, you've been successful. Squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Those 4 belly buttons in. Lots of breath. Knees down. Torso lowers. Back bend of your choosing on the belly. Now, if you have to contract anything so that it feels a little better, go for it. But maybe spend the back bend with a sense of expansion. Like moving towards instead of moving away. Okay, let's flow. Make your way into downward dog and then up to the front of the mat as you're ready to. And fold forward. Inhale, lift the back up some and look forward. When you breathe out, fingertips come to the floor and the left foot goes back. Breathe in, like you could expand, like you could make your bones longer. And breathe out, contract. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Push into the floor and then inhale, lift your torso, lift your arms. You can bend your back knee if you want to, but let's, instead of leaning forward, lean into the back leg a little bit and then feel a sense of deep contraction in your back hip, maybe in the belly, but a big lift and expansion across the chest. So lift your sternum. Let's go out into warrior two. Inhale like you can make your limbs longer, your spine longer, your neck longer. And exhale, feel contracted. Squeeze in, squeeze in. Inhale out. Exhale in. Just pay attention to what you feel. Inhale out. Exhale in. Reverse warrior. And you can just let everything relax. You engage however feels better in your body. Fingertips to the floor. Downward dog. Inhale into plank pose. Exhale, squeeze. Heels back, knees down, forearms down. Lift your knees up and squeeze in. And again, when you become lost in a trance of thought, what word best describes? Expansion, contraction. Do you want to move towards it or away from it? And be picky about what you give your time to. You don't have to add anything to it. You don't have to elaborate. Knees down, belly down, tops of the feet down. Your pick. You rest here or you do a back bend, whichever one you like the most. Again, as though you're being really generous to your body, really grateful. So, of course, exercising your body, challenging it, is a generous thing to do to it. But when I say that, I mean, let's just give it some time to kind of unplug a little. So from downward dog, notice your breath. Travel up to the front of your space and fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. Right foot back. And we'll stay low for a moment in this low lunge. Back knee up though. And when you're ready to inhale, imagine your bones got longer, your fingers got longer, your ligaments got longer. And when you exhale, squeeze everything in. There's so much that you're teaching your body when you really pay attention to this. Go ahead and lift your torso, lift your arms. You can bend your back knee, but push into the floor. And you can keep your lunge pretty neutral if it feels really good to feel that sense of expansion across the upper chest. Maybe you back bend. So there's a contraction in the back, maybe in the belly and the back hip. Just one more breath here. And we go to warrior two. Perfect. So again, just for the experiment of it, making sure first that your alignment doesn't feel any weird pulling on the bends in your body. And when you inhale, just imagine everything got longer and stretched out. And when you exhale, everything squeezes in. Inhale that sense of expansion. You can close your eyes if you want. And exhale, squeeze in. Inhale out. Exhale in. Keep going. Lean over your back leg, reverse warrior. Any variation you love. Hands down. If you want to take a break in child's pose or any resting pose you love, go ahead. If you want to do another vinyasa, feel free. If you want to hold that plank pose, you can do forearms or hands, knees up or down. Feel free. Choose the one that makes you feel more expansive, more kind of connected, more in line with your goals. Okay, from down dog or hands and knees, your pick. Let's travel up to the front of the mat. But then separate the feet into a squat. We're going to make this not the lowest squat we can. Instead, make it so that you can rest your elbows on your legs. Now, because of my hips, I have to turn my feet out quite a bit here. You might not. Whatever feels better. But then grab the floor with your feet, like with your toes, with the balls of the feet, with the heels. And feel like you could push your knees out, away from each other. If you're feeling it in your back in a way that you don't like, maybe lift your hips a little higher. You can put your hands on your legs instead of your elbows. If you'd rather lift your arms up, go ahead. And when you're ready, straighten your legs. Inhale, feel like you could expand, maybe take your arms back. When you exhale, squeeze everything. 4 belly buttons in, contract and lower your hips. Inhale, stand. Almost relax. You can just, if you want, just relax everything in that sense of expansion. Lengthen and relax. And then exhale, squeeze and contract. Hips down. Inhale. And exhale. Again, become extremely, like really, really super acquainted with how your body feels. With the feeling of effort and the feeling of ease. With the feeling of wanting to move towards something, wanting to move away. And the next time you're low, stay there. Whether or not your feet are parallel, feels though you could take your hips, move them out, away from each other. So you might feel your feet pushing out against the floor like you were trying to rip your mat. Arms up or down. Notice if your breath has changed. Whatever you want to do with your arms. Yeah. And then let's put the fingertips to the floor and straighten the legs. You can wiggle your feet so they're parallel and fold in a way that's easy. You can move or be still. 3 breaths here. Inhale, lift the back up some and gaze forward. Fingertips lower. Left foot goes back. So we're going to go into a standing twist from here. I'm going to put my back knee on the floor. You can leave yours up if you want to, but lift your torso. So if you have your back knee up, maybe it's up just a little bit. Maybe it's up high, whatever you want. But from here, we're going to bend the elbows like a goalpost, or you can place your fingertips to your head. The elbows don't have to be out, whatever feels best in your shoulders. And when you're ready, inhale and exhale, contract. Squeeze everything. Inhale. Now this time when you exhale and contract, turn your rib cage to the right. Perfect. Back to center. That was perfect, everyone. Inhale. Squeeze your legs, okay? And then exhale, contract and turn your rib cage to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, contract. Take the rib cage and just dip it down, side bend to the right. Inhale to center, like everything got longer. Exhale, contract, squeeze everything you have and shift to the left. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Exhale, contract and twist to the right. Inhale to center, maybe hint of a back bend, nice and long. Exhale, squeeze everything, twist left. Inhale to center. Exhale, contract and side bend to the right. Inhale to center, light, easy. Exhale, contract and side bend to the left. Inhale to center. You can lift your arms, exhale. Lift your back knee if you had it down, but just for a moment. And let's go back out into warrior 2. We're going to straighten the front leg like triangle pose. Now you can decide how much space you want between your feet. You can have a really wide stance or not. Arms are going to be out. And we're going to inhale, feel that sense of contraction, of expansion. And then exhale, contract. Now take your right arm and lift it up alongside your ear. You can do whatever you want with your left arm, really. But inhale, like you could lengthen all of your limbs and your fingers and your neck. And then exhale, squeeze, contract, and take the right side of the body over the right leg. Inhale up, get nice and long. Exhale like you're going into triangle pose. Squeeze and contract. Inhale up. And exhale again. Squeeze and contract, going to the right. Perfect. 2 more, maybe 3. Doesn't matter how deeply you go necessarily, but how deep your attention is, that matters. When you're ready, let's go into a regular old reverse warrior. Lean over the back leg. Hands come down. Child's pose, downward dog, or a vinyasa. Or some cat-cows. But again, this whole time, you be so just smart with your energy, with your time. Sometimes that means if you're lost in a trance of a belief or a blockage or whatever you want to call it that you've had for a long time, you don't have to be peace and rainbows about it. You can just dismiss. Just dismiss. Put your attention somewhere else. Again, just over and over again, you just choose what to give power to and what not to. What to give time to and what not to. Okay, so let's drop back into the sort of efforting of that squeezing in. Travel up to the front of your mat, however you want to get there. Inhale, lift the back up some, gaze forward. Fingertips down, the right foot's going back. Again, I'm putting my knee to the floor. You can have your knee up or down. Lift your torso up. Either fingertips behind the head, elbows out, your favorite way to do it. We're going to keep the rib cage over the pelvis for the most part, so like yoga blocks stacked on top of each other. Breathe in. Imagine everything got longer. And breathe out. Squeeze your legs in. Twist to the left. Contract. Inhale, center. Ease. Exhale to the right. Squeeze. Perfect. Inhale, center. Ease. Lift. Exhale, side bend to the left. So maybe the left elbow goes down to the floor some. Inhale up. Nice and easy. Exhale, side bend to the right. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale up. One more time. Exhale, contract, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, contract, twist right. And center. Exhale, contract, side bend left. Inhale, nice and long and easeful, lift your chest. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, lift your arms. You might roll your wrists around, back off a little. When you're ready, lift your back knee however you can. And let's go out into warrior two. So we'll straighten the legs. Again, based on whatever your hips like the most and your back, you might bring your feet closer to each other or farther. Arms out. So we're keeping the chest facing the wall. Take your left arm and reach it up alongside the ear. When you're ready, inhale. And then exhale, feel that sense of contraction as you take the left side of the body over the left leg. Inhale, back up. And exhale over the leg. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And back up. Keep going. Exhale. Grabbing onto the floor with your feet. And up. Good. Again. One or two more. Good. And we'll do reverse warrior when you're ready. Lean over the back leg. And hands come down. Step back, downward dog. Child's pose or vinyasa. Good. So speaking again to a sense of efficiency, noticing what it feels like to sense that deep contraction in your body and kind of using that to your advantage can make exercise a lot easier, in the sense that you, instead of doing plank pose for 2 minutes, you can do it for 30 seconds, but really engage your body. You get way more bang for your buck. We've only got a little bit more to do, everybody. Let's travel up to the front of the mat again and fold forward. Inhale, lift the back up some, look forward. Exhale, fold. Let's keep the feet parallel now. Maybe they come together if you like that for chair pose, and lower your hips down. And let's keep the torso on the legs. If you can get your belly to touch your legs, do it. Yeah. Bring your arms either to frame your face, or maybe just place your hands to opposite shoulder. And when you're ready, breathe in. And when you breathe out, straighten your legs and fold. Keep your body kind of glued together if you can. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, straighten them. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Now inhale, bend. Exhale, squeeze your legs, straighten them, and contract, contract, contract. Like everything's pulling in towards the center point in the body. Inhale, and exhale, contract. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, and squeeze. Inhale, almost done, and squeeze. Next time you're in chair pose, lift your torso off of your legs. And when you're ready, straighten your legs, lean back a little bit. Like you could make all your limbs long. And then exhale, squeeze, lower your hips down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, stand, lean back. Exhale, squeeze, go low. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Next time you inhale and stand up, stay there. Maybe take the arms back some more. Maybe support your head with your hands or your waist. And just do a back bend that feels pleasant. So this is not a goal-oriented asana. You just kind of like it. And if that's not a back bend, then do something else. Okay, we're going to do a simple balancing pose today. I mean, as simple as a balancing pose can be. But we're going to play with that squeezing in. So you know what, everyone? You choose the balancing pose. You might just lift your left foot up. You can open your knee out. You can do whatever you love. Like if you've been craving a dancer's pose, go for it. The feeling of that contraction, that squeezing in when you're in a back bend can be really interesting. But let's do that only if you've been really enjoying back bends lately. What you have to do is lift a foot. Probably want to focus your eyes. We're going to start from the ground. So that foot on the ground, squeeze it. Little bend in the knee might be smart. But remember, the heel is squeezing into the floor too, not just the toes. And when you inhale, whatever you want to do with your arms, maybe it's a sense of lifting or separating them, whatever your shoulders like. If you've been sitting a lot, maybe lift your chest. But when you exhale, squeeze everything. Inhale. Just feel like you can get longer. And exhale, contract, squeeze in. Feel like you were just making yourself stronger. Just every second was making you so strong. Inhale, long, relaxed, expansive. Exhale, squeeze. And when you're ready, put that foot down. It might feel nice to shake out your ankles, shake out your hands. We'll go into the other side when you're ready. Same thing, the variation that suits. Leg up, eyes focused. And again, just another reminder, because this is just so brilliant and something so good to know, to remember. You don't sometimes train your thoughts or your body. You do that for your whole life. That's what you've always been doing. We're just being a little bit more intentional about it. So inhale, nice and expansive. And exhale, squeeze. Inhale, nice and expansive. Exhale, dismiss any thoughts that are not working for you, that make you feel like you're contracting away. Inhale, nice and expansive. Exhale, squeeze your whole body, like the whole thing fired up. Couple more. Inhale, like everything got longer, like you got closer to the ceiling. And exhale, like everything got closer to a center point in your body. And release your foot down. We're going to do just a tiny bit of attention to the core, and then we're going to stretch out the hips. It'll feel good. Let's reach up. Don't work. Just reach up and fold however you prefer to do it. Lift the back up some when you inhale. And let's separate the feet into a squat. We're not holding it. This is just to help us get to sit down. So if you want to do that a different way, it's fine. We're going to come onto the elbows. Now, some of you are going to come onto your back because you prefer that. We're going to lift the feet up. You might know just by looking at this if you'd rather do it on your back. But we're going to take the knees and have them not too close to the belly. So instead of really taking them in, they'll be forward. You do with your neck, whatever feels best on it. Again, either lying down or sitting up. And we're just going to imagine the back is neutral, right? So we're not rounding or back bending. The back is placed in a neutral position. If your back is off of the floor, it'll be engaged a little differently, but that's fine. When you're ready, squeeze everything in. Again, think of that efficiency here. Instead of holding a boat pose for 5 minutes, you hold it for 30 seconds, but it's just so good. Like you're really paying attention to the engaging. Way more bang for your buck. Way more efficient use of your time. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Some of you might try this with the legs long. Your legs are working too. You can probably feel it. But think all 4 belly buttons drawing in towards the center. Now maybe to make it fun, if you call it that, you move your legs a little bit. Again, you can do this if you're lying down too. Just lift and lower, lift and lower. You can take them in and out. You can make something up. I just want you to feel the sense of contraction. So if you're moving, you might imagine you were more like you're swimming in water, so there's a little more resistance there than there would be in the air. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Everything but your face. Now let's release the feet. And if you were propped up on your elbows, come onto your back. And let's lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Left foot's down like bridge pose. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Now straighten or reach that right leg towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Imagine you got your foot 2 inches closer to the ceiling, but the hip stays on the floor. When you breathe out, contract everything, squeeze everything and lower your leg. Now from here, inhale like your leg got even longer, like it got closer to the wall it was pointing to. And then exhale, squeeze it and reach it up towards the ceiling. Back is neutral, neck relaxed. Inhale, stretch your leg out. Exhale, squeeze it forward and down. Inhale, stretch it out. Squeeze it forward and up. So the movement ends up being really slow and deliberate. If it's more interesting to you to move faster, go for it. Go to town. Just feel that squeezing in. So you're still being kind of deliberate and attentive. Let's do the other side. We're really slowing down after this. Just a little bit more of that sense of effort. Quality. Way more than quantity here. Reach the foot up. And after you squeeze, 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 or during, reach it forward and down. Reach the foot towards the wall. Maybe that's on the inhale. And exhale, contract as you reach it to the ceiling. Inhale, reach it to the ceiling more. Exhale, contract as you reach it towards the wall. And just again, keep doing this and feeling the effort in your whole body. It might be a little bit easier to feel the deep connection between moving your hips and your abdomen. You might find you start feeling your abdomen work a little bit more to move the leg. And it's time to stop. Put your foot down. Arms by the sides. We're going to go into bridge pose. If you have another back bend you'd prefer, or if you want to do your back bend with something propped underneath you, go ahead. We're going to do 2 of them. So if you want your back bend to be really relaxing, go ahead and take some pillows or whatever you want, put them under your sacrum, leave it there. If you want to have your back bend different, feet down, lift up. You can do what you'd like with your arms. I love that sense of contraction in a back bend. It makes me really kind of aware of the parts of my body I might be underutilizing and the ones I might be kind of falling into, maybe relying on a little too much. Now, if you are doing a really active back bend, come down. And maybe you stay down, like if that's enough, perfect. If you want to go back up, go ahead. I think I'm going to stay down. And if you're feeling like I am, maybe you stay down, grab onto your hips. If you're in an active back bend, just have fun. Do whatever keeps your curiosity piqued. We're going to meet on all fours, on hands and knees. If you don't like pigeon, lying down over your front leg, pigeon prep, and would rather stretch your hip out lying down on your back, just stay on your back. You can put your right ankle to your thigh. Otherwise, come to hands and knees or even downward dog. And we'll place the right knee to the right wrist or elbow, stretch the left leg back. And if you are really interested in seeing what it feels like to contract here, do so, but only for the first couple of breaths. We want to get the body to the sign to back off a little bit. So let's take our attention a little away from the physical stuff. I mean, of course, it's all connected. It's not independent of the mental stuff. But really notice what you're giving your mental attention to. Again, we are always strengthening what we have faith in. And when you're practicing yoga and mindfulness, you might change a little bit. You might just play with altering the things you're so confident about so that you improve your mental kind of landscape, your habits, your life. A little more generous, a little bit kinder, a little more expansive. We're going to go into the other side, however you want to get there. And really, again, play with the mind stuff. And in the pose, don't make it too intense. Maybe at first it is. It's difficult to be creative and competitive at the same time. So let's let go of any competition or need to really push right now, the body or the hips. And just be picky about what you pay attention to, what you feed. Surrender a little bit more. We are going straight into Shavasana from here. If you would like to go into a twist, please do. But note, because of the way we engaged in the torso today, you might not need it. So I would say only do your lying down twist if it will make you feel better. If you're neutral about it, see what happens when you skip it. And find comfort and ease in the body. Let your eyes close. Let everything ease up. And take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe you inhale, take a couple more sips at the top, even more, and then let it go. You can do that again if you want. You're feeling as though all of your muscles, all of your bones, which are just as alive, which are changing a lot too. Every part of you, all your organs, your everything, your nervous system, sent all of that, the signal to back off. Your body's taking care of itself, you're letting it rest. Soften your eyes, and let's check back in just once more with this idea of expansion and contraction. When considering thought and mental habits, right, the beliefs we already have, if the word expansion sounds like a little too hippie-ish, doesn't seem like solid enough, notice the thoughts that make you excited. Go to them. You feed them. Everything else just a little at a time. Remember, it took our whole life to build our patterns. Just a little at a time with lots of patience, lots of biasing towards kindness. If something makes you feel contracted, makes your breath stop in a way that's not pleasant, you can just say, aha, I noticed that. And just let it have a little bit less hold, a little bit less of your time. And again, move towards those thoughts and those stories that energize you. Move towards a sense of peace and quiet and ease and connection. Let it grow. And again, really let yourself have faith or confidence in those thoughts that are really exciting to you, in those stories that really build you up. They're a good thing. They're an excellent pointer. And if you want to just kind of marinate in them for a little longer, you might just stay in Shavasana. If you're ready to come out of it, go ahead and move however you want to. You can keep the mental aspects, keep the attention, but sit up if you'd like. And have this little bit of time to yourself. Use it well. If you want to fold forward, place the hands where you'd like. Have a breath in and fold. Thank you very much, everyone.